Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about the Baker Act and specifically what I refer to as the 3 to 7 day rule. So we just got done handling a case. The case came in on a Saturday morning. I handled it myself and the person was released in about 24 hours, which is not unusual. Typically a Baker Act case, the average time is 1 to 2 days to get somebody out, including the weekends. So even though the courts are closed on the weekends and on holidays, we can still file the case, and unless it's a Sunday or a federal holiday, we can also serve them too. So the reason that I'm doing this video specifically with regards to the 3 to 7 day rule is because when the family contacted us, they were expressing to us their frustration because a loved one had been taken in by law enforcement, and for what it's worth, I think this was a horrible Baker Act. I do not think this individual met criteria at all, but he was taken. Not unusual. Police erring on the side of caution, and we can't blame them for that because ultimately the determination as to whether or not this person should be detained for a significant period of time is supposed to be made with the doctor. So no fault for the police, but the doctors. So when this individual was taken to the hospital, he was told by numerous staff members, including the psychiatrist, that he has to stay for 3 to 7 days. This is their rule, this is the law, and all this other stuff. And that is just completely not true. And to be perfectly blunt with you, I think the family was lied to. There's no rule that says you have to be there 3 to 7 days. So just to back up just a teeny tiny bit here and refresh your recollection, there's actually 2 types of Baker Act here in the state of Florida. One is involuntary and one is voluntary. So what does that mean if you're voluntary? Well, it actually means you agreed to be Baker Acted. Well, why would I do that? Why would anybody do that? Well, because you didn't realize the consequences of agreeing to. In fact, you were probably tricked. And this really became prominent during COVID when folks were showing up at hospitals and Baker Act facilities looking for help. Their medications weren't working, they didn't feel so good. And somebody there said, oh, would you like to be assessed so we can change your medications? Or would you like to be assessed so we can see how to treat you? I'd love to be assessed, thank you, great. Sign here. And what they just signed was a voluntary admission agreement agreeing to be Baker Acted. Well, normally a couple hours in, then they realized, what they just, subjected themselves to. They'd say, oh, I'd like to leave. You can't leave. What do you mean I can't leave? You've been Baker Acted. When did that happen? Well, when you signed here. Well, can I not leave? No, we have 24 hours to either let you go or file to keep you. And if we file to keep you, sometime between tomorrow and the next 5 days, there's going to be a hearing. And at that hearing, we're going to ask for more time to keep you, somewhere from 0 to the next 6 months. So that's the voluntary Baker Act. The involuntary Baker Act, which I'm sure most of you are more familiar with, is the one that has the 72-hour window in it. And that basically means that once you are in either a behavioral health unit or a Baker Act receiving facility, 72 hours is the sort of window of time in which they have to assess and stabilize you. And if they can't get that done for whatever reason, they have a couple of options. One, they can petition the court for an order of placement, which means it's going to trigger that 5-day window I just talked about. And at that hearing, the judge or the magistrate could, in theory, order you detained anywhere from 0 to the next 6 months, or they get you to sign a voluntary admission agreement, which typically involves lying to you, tricking you, and coercing you, because nobody in their right mind would ever agree to that if they realized that they couldn't get out, and that it was an indefinite hold without a court order. And so those are the 2 types of Baker Act. So this whole idea of, well, we're going to keep you 3 to 7 days is just a lie, and it's just not right. And this family, had they not called us, in all likelihood, what would have happened is their loved one would have been kept probably at least 7 days. And the reason I say that is because he had really, really good health insurance. And this is how the facility was going to line their pockets. That's typically the way it works on a Baker Act. If you've got insurance, you become a target for this stuff. So they would have kept him 7 days. And then when he was expected to leave, what would have happened? Well, the facility would have said, we need more time with you. Well, I want to go home. Well, here's the deal. You're not going home. In fact, we're going to file to keep you. And that would have triggered the 5-day window. Now, whether or not that whole 7-day thing would have been legal, I think is maybe a different topic for a different day. But the point is, that they were going to keep this guy for a week, up to a week, and I think they would have kept him for the week based on what I know about these facilities and the health insurance thing, and then they would have tried to keep him even longer. And a lot of folks will say, how can that happen, Mark? Well, here's the rub. Nobody knew he was even there. There's no oversight. There's nobody up top here like watching what's going on. There's nobody there to say, oh, you're doing this wrong. Unless they call us and we drag them into court, they can get away with whatever they want. And here's the icing on the cake. Because they're a licensed agent of the state's mental health system, even if they are a private entity for profit, you cannot sue them for this stuff. Yeah, how about that? You can't sue them, so they really don't care. The only time that maybe you can sue is if there's been some type of civil rights violation, or you've been injured, because they have a duty to keep you safe. But those are few and far between. They're very hard to prove. So as a general rule, if they do it wrong, guess what? You're not getting any money out of this, and they don't care. So that is the 3 to 7 day rule. When a facility starts telling you, we have to keep you 3 to 7 days, that's the law. I'm here to call BS on that, because it's not true. It's a lie. And if you want to know more about how we handle these cases, give us a call. You can speak to folks in my intake department. You can have a free conversation with them. And I've got an absolute ton of resources, including hundreds of these videos and an ebook. It's all yours for free. I want you to have the information you need. Anyway, with that said, I would love a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in our next video. Take care. Bye-bye.